In today's episode, Chef Kendra will show us how to make her delicious beef cheeks in a Chipotle Braise using Prairie Street Co.'s beef cheeks.
This beef cheek is like so beyond tender. This dish is a winner, you guys. Welcome to the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen. Today you're cooking with me and I am Chef Kendra. We are going to be making beef cheeks in a Chipotle Braise using Prairie Street Co.'s beef cheeks. Aside from loving cooking here in the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen, I absolutely adore cooking in home kitchens around the world. One of my most favorite and most cherished places is, of course, Baja. And I'm gonna be taking a little inspiration from the Baja Peninsula today. So let's talk about these beef cheeks. Now, I'm gonna be doing a braise. These are also super great for things like chulant or a beef stew, anything that's gonna take a long time, right? So these are from literally the cheek of the animal, which means that they get worked a lot. So they need to cook down. We're gonna cook these puppies down so that way they shred apart. It's gonna be delicious. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, I'm going to salt and pepper. Believe it or not, I'm not gonna go crazy with the salt today, and I'll tell you why. These guys are gonna be sitting in this braising liquid with all these amazing flavors for a long time, like 3 to 4 hours in a 325, 350 degree oven. So I don't need to overly salt them because they're gonna be picking up a ton of flavor. So just nice and light. The other thing is with salt, you know, we say it all the time, but once you put it in, you can't take it out. So might as well add it at the end if you need any more. The braising liquid, really kind of fun and always super simple, right? So we're gonna sear these off. I'm gonna use the fond, that fond is flavor, thank you, Erica, in the bottom of the pan. And then we're gonna be toasting up some spices in that fat, that residual fat that comes off. See this fat that's gonna like melt off and give me a really nice, good, unctuous base for my chile, cumin, you know I love cumin, my coriander, a little hint of cinnamon because again, we're going to Mexico, and white pepper, and of course, 1 chipotle with about a tablespoon and a half of adobo sauce. So you get them in the can, they come packed in sauce. The chipotle has like this really great smoky flavor to it. It has some heat, so I'm only gonna use 1 today. Okay, so once they kind of like toast up, then I'm gonna add in my onions and a couple cloves of garlic, some chopped tomatoes, and some delicious dry kosher red wine, Cabernet. Remember, cook with what you drink. All right, let's go over to the stovetop. All right. Time to sear off these beef cheeks. So, heavy bottom, cast iron pan, right? If I were making more than 2 of these, I might have something that's a little bit taller, but I'm not. So I'm just gonna stay with this guy. I already have it on a medium-ish heat, but it was higher. I had to bring it down a little bit. So this guy's hot and ready to go. Olive oil going in. And I don't need that much because these guys have some nice, you know, fat to it. Okay, so some olive oil. Gorgeous. Beef cheeks in. Now, I can actually do both of these at the same time because I have enough surface of the pan. So these guys are gonna sear. Now I'm searing first because once they braise, I don't have a chance to sear them. And I wanna start building my flavor. So what does this sear for this actually do? Does it matter if there's like a crust on the beef cheek? No, because it's gonna be braising for several hours until it's like shredded apart. But what this is doing is that it's releasing some of that amazing flavor from the meat that's going to start building and deepening the flavor of the chipotle sauce. So that's why I'm braising first. All right, so I'm gonna flip these over. It has been about 2.5 minutes, but I wanna show you, this is what I'm looking for, guys. It's this color in here, right? So Chef also calls it GBD, golden brown delicious. It's also, this fat is starting to really like caramelize and melt and get like crispy. That's the color. Now I'm gonna flip. Same thing on this one. Flip it over. All right, so these guys are ready. Look at that, perfect color. And they're just gonna sit here and rest for a minute. Now I'm gonna go in with my toasting spices. Get those guys in first. So we have coriander, cumin. I'm only gonna use half of this. Cinnamon, super fun. White pepper and chili. These guys are in. Now, you'll notice that these are gonna almost look like they're starting to burn. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to keep the movement on the pan. Now, I'm gonna go in with my chipotle and the adobo sauce. And now my onions and my garlic. So I'm gonna use this chipotle and the sweating of the onions to start picking up those spices. They're toasted. You saw how fast I went, that way they didn't burn. And I'm really being careful here to scrape everything up off the bottom of the pan. Again, building up that flavor. I'm gonna use just a tad of water, just a little snippet, to help me pick that up. Now I'm gonna deglaze with my red wine. Scrape up all this fond on the bottom of the pan. All right, so perfectly reduced. It's been about 4 minutes, but you can really tell this like super dark brown from the red wine and from all those spices. Now I'm gonna go in with my chopped tomatoes, just incorporating everything. All right, so a little more of that liquid has cooked off, and I'm gonna go in with some more red wine, put the meat in, shove it in the oven. So I'm not using that much red wine. I'm actually going to use some water right now, about a cup of water. The reason is because like that chipotle and then the chile spices, like super flavorful and spicy. So I wanna kind of cut that down just a little bit. All right, this is incorporated. Let's add our meat back in. Going into the oven and straight on in. All right, again, 325-degree oven for about 3-ish hours. Those babies are gonna shred apart and it's gonna be delicious. See you back in a moment because we're gonna make our Charoset Inspired Salsa. All right, so it has been about 3.5-ish hours and the beef cheeks are totally ready to come out and I'm ready to eat them. But first, I'm gonna make for you my Charoset Inspired Salsa. So Charoset, for those of you who don't know, is a traditional dish that is on the Seder plate during Passover. It is typically traditionally made of apples, nuts, and a sweet wine. However, today I'm making it a little interesting, and I'm still keeping the apples. I'm gonna use some slivered almonds. Instead of wine, however, I'm going to be using a hibiscus tea. So it is just the hibiscus flower. In Mexico, we call it jamaica, sweetened with just a little bit of sugar, okay? So first thing, you'll notice I did not cut my avocado yet because as soon as you start cutting an avocado, it starts to oxidize and get brown, but I wanna keep it that beautiful bright green. So let's do this. Give it a little slice, going around the pit. Twist. Little hammer. Okay. I'm just gonna go down very carefully so I can make it into cubes. I wanna keep everything about the same size. Okay, and then the same thing over here. Now, what's nice about this salsa is that aside from adding the avocado in, you can mix the other ingredients together and let it sit in the refrigerator for, like an hour or so. And all that's gonna do is just let it the flavors marry up together and get really yummy. So, avocado in to my bowl. I'm gonna actually add in, to start, 1/2 of lime because again, I don't want it to turn brown. And just give that a quick little stir. Okay, I have here some fresh orange. I just got the peel off, cubed it up. You'll notice I'm keeping everything kind of small. Apple. And I'm using a harder apples, so I don't want to use anything like a Red Delicious. They have zero flavor. I'm actually using a Fuji. Cilantro, slivered almonds, just a little bit of red chili. Give it a mix. Now, I don't want this to get, because of the lime juice that's in there already, as well as the avocado, I don't want it to get like too saucy, so I'm just gonna use a little tiny bit of the hibiscus just for color. Okay, quick toss. Let me get cleaned up really quick, and then we'll pull out the beef cheeks. Be right back. It's my favorite time, folks. It's tasting time, but first it's the big reveal of the beef cheeks, done in a Chipotle Braise. Delicious. Let's look. Oh yeah, baby. These guys are gonna fall right apart and right into my face. I can't wait. Look at the color of that sauce. Every single time I make this, I just cannot get over. What I love about this is that the fat from the beef cheeks have just like melted into that smoky, saucy, sweet, spicy braise. I'm gonna come in here with 2 forks, and I'm just gonna shred it up. Okay, seriously, this is like perfection. This is what you're looking for, guys. Internal temperature, don't even worry about taking it. This is fork, tender, cooked to perfection. Oh my gosh. So, I mentioned Passover when I was talking about this Charoset Inspired Salsa. If you want to have this for Passover, awesome. Today, because it's not Passover, I'm having it on a corn tortilla to make a taco. I would recommend trying some matzah, putting it on top of matzah. It's like a tostada. So instead of just taking out your matzah, putting this on top and layering it, pro tip, put a little bit of olive oil on the matzah, put it in the oven for a moment, so that way it gets a little bit harder, because once the matzah gets wet, it's gonna start to get soggy. No one likes soggy matzah when you're trying to have a tostada, so try that, delicious. Okay, build the taco. So I'm going to get some of this beautifully shredded meat. Okay, perfection. Some of our, look at that color. Like, that is beautiful. Right on top. That is going to cut into that spice. And there you have it, our beef cheeks in a Chipotle Braise, using Prairie Street Co.'s beef cheeks. This beef cheek, it's calling my name, baby. Oh my God. I am so happy with that salsa on top of it, because the beef cheek is like so beyond tender. It's sweet, it's beefy, it's meaty, and then it just has that like slight crunch and sweetness from that Charoset Inspired Salsa. This dish is a winner, you guys. Our beef cheeks in a Chipotle Braise, using Prairie Street Co.'s beef cheeks. I was so excited when Elliot told me that Prairie Street Co. was going to start selling beef cheeks, because it's a cut that honestly like not enough people use, and it's awesome. So thank you as always for joining us here at the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen. Like us, follow us, talk to us, like ask us questions, send us photos of what you're making, tag us on social media, follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go onto our website and buy this product. We'll see you next time, next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Peace. I'm getting back into my beef cheek.
Subscribe to our channel now and set your notifications so you don't miss our latest recipes and chef-led tutorials. Then head over to prairiestreet.co to shop for your next big meal.